Welcome back. The National Association of Resident Doctors recently embarked on a nationwide strike to demand, amongst other things, immediate payment of salary shortfalls. And let's take a look at this feature, and when we return, we'll have a discussion with Dr. Adebayo-Shekumade, the president of the Association of Resident Doctors at Louth.
Various government-owned health institutions across Nigeria have been wearing a deserted look since members of the National Association of Resident Doctors embarked on indefinite strike action. The doctors are using the strike as a means to express their grievances about staff welfare, poor health facilities, and payment of salary arrears.
You pay me a fraction of my salary, and then you now tell me that I should keep working, that in 2 months you will dialogue with me again. When I've been telling you it happened November, it happened October, it happened December last year, it happened January, February this year. And we have been dialoguing since June.
What we are saying is government should be alive to their responsibilities and treat doctors the way they should be treated. I mean, these demands are not out of this world. They are genuine demands, they are legit demands that everybody, including the government, has attested to.
We even wrote open letter to the acting president when Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari was away in London. We wrote an open letter to him to save our soul.
Patients are undeniably at one receiving end of this situation.
Strike has affected me, not me alone. It affects all the patients here.
I don't want the government to allow them go on strike, because if they are on strike, our life is not safe.
While the strike remains ongoing, action is being taken to cushion its effect in the affected hospitals.
The management has called the meeting of all health departments in the clinical areas to make sure that everywhere is well covered, so that we'll be able to render the normal services.
All the head of departments are briefed about the situation and how they are going to tackle the emergency situation we are being faced with.
In such a situation, as doctors, we should be able to cope with any situation we find ourselves, and we muster the consultants, the doctors who are on the national service, as well as even the minister, as the Honorable Minister has directed that the house officers should be working, and with the complement of the house officers, I think we are coping with the situation.
At the moment, one can only hope that the strike action comes to an end before it strikes the nation even further.
All right, Dr. Adebayo-Shekumade is the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors at Louth here in Lagos. Thank you for joining us this morning, Doc.
Thank you.
All right, so Doctor, let's go straight to the issues this morning affecting the issues why you went on strike in the first place. Now, you talked about the salary arrears that are being owed. You talked about the pensions and also stagnated promotions and all of that. Were all these issues necessary for you to go on strike at this time?
Well, if you consider the fact that we've been dialoguing with the federal government, the different officials for more than a year now, and as a matter of fact, we've had agreements in the past which we are not actually adhered to. So if you also consider the fact that a lot of our members are becoming very restive, then there was a lot of pressure on the ESCO members, that's the national officers of NAD, to take action. And it wasn't as if we just woke up one day and said, we are going to down tools. 21-day ultimatum was again served on the federal government, and when no action was seen to have been taken, that was to appear as if the hands of the doctors were forced by the seeming unwillingness of the government officials to meet the
demands of the
legitimate demands of the doctors.
Now, we know that the demands are genuine demands, But you went on strike last year as well, early in 2016. And the issues that you were addressing at the time, are they the same issues you're addressing now, or were they different issues back then last year?
The issues are similar, and that is why this present action is all this very unfortunate, because it will appear as if we've entered the cycle of going on strike, negotiating with government officials, having memorandum of understanding or terms of settlement, as the case may be. You find out that those terms of agreement are not adhered to, then you go back to the starting point, which is a strike action. So it appears as if there's a vicious cycle, and that is why we feel there's a need for us to break out of that cycle so that all this issue can be put to rest once and for all.
Yes, because I mean, that's my next question. I'm asking, and everyone is wondering, do these strikes work? Because you go on strike and then you begin this process of negotiation and you come back to the table and then you call off the strike. Do they actually work? Do you, in meeting, in forcing the federal government to meet your demands?
It will appear that in time past, well, we can't say the strikes have been 100% effective. Otherwise, we will not be on strike at the moment. So that is all the more reason why before such actions are taken, the NAD usually bends over backward to ensure that we negotiate and we explore other avenues for the resolution of these issues. But like I said, it's as if our hands are usually forced. And if you consider the fact that, what is the other option? We can't just sit back and say, yes, our demands have not been met over the years. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. Yeah. Something has to be done.
Now, let's talk about the effects of the strike. Quite a number of hospitals across the nation have a lot of sick people there. You've got women and children going through all stages of distress, and even people requiring surgery. I mean, what do you say to such people when they can see you in the hospital and you're saying you're refusing to attend to them? How do you deal with such an issue, even morally, when you look at it on the face of it?
Well, that's the sad part of industrial actions, more so in the health sector. And that is why we as an association try to ensure due diligence by serving adequate notice on the hospital management, the federal government officials, to ensure that adequate steps are taken to prevent unnecessary deaths or injuries emanating from this industrial action. And we have also seen that some steps have actually been taken by the different management to ensure that the effects is not felt so much by the patient.
No, but there's no way that effects will not be felt. I mean, if I'm sick and I'm lying on a hospital bed and you're refusing to attend to me, how am I going to? There's nothing that the management can do except treat me.
Yes, other cadres of doctors who do not belong to the association have been mobilized by the different hospital management to attend to patients. But we know that is not the ideal situation. That is why we are hoping that this issue can be speedily addressed and put to rest.
Yeah. Now, the Nigerian Medical Association, the NMA, is presently at loggerheads with the Association of Resident Doctors over this strike. What are the issues that the NMA is saying? Because it's saying that the strike is uncalled for. So what do you have to say to the NMA, for instance, in this case?
Well, I listened to the NMA president yesterday, and their positions were that NAD were within their right and they were actually justified to embark on this industrial action. Part of the submission of the president was that the federal government officials should ensure that there's a clear demonstration of sincerity and a will to see through this agreement that are going to be signed. So I don't see any conflict between the NMA and NAD on this issue.
No, but I mean, all over the papers and in the news, we're saying we're being told that the NMA is saying that the strike is unauthorized, so that it wasn't sanctioned by the NMA.
It's probably a misrepresentation of what was said by the NMA president, because I also listened to the interview yesterday.
So how long is this strike going to last? That's what everybody wants to know now, because it's almost like a situation where somebody has to move. Are you talking about who's going to move first? Is it the federal government that is going to move? Is it the doctors that are going to move? It just looks like this is a stalemate that is going on at the moment.
Well, I don't think this is actually a statement because negotiations are still ongoing. As of yesterday, the different parties met, and so for me, I think we have actually made a lot of progress, and I foresee a very speedy resolution of the issues.
And then in a few months again, you'll go on strike to meet some further demands. Is that what's going to happen again?
I think this is actually a question that should be posed to members of the public. So if doctors go on strike and they go back to work
and then they go on strike
nothing
again.
is done, so we should not be the ones talking about those issues again. Because ultimately, the members of the public are the ones getting the short end of the stick, so they should be the ones taking up these issues. But it would be unfair for someone to say, yes, you've gone on strike, some of the demands have been met, then you should not go on strike again. So certain machinery should be put in place by civil society organizations to ensure that at least some minimum standards are maintained in the health sector, such that doctors will cease to be the ones making these agitations. So I really don't think it's a problem of doctors going on strike incessantly. On the other, I think it's actually a demonstration of apathy, if you like, on the part of the members of the public who have probably refused to take ownership of the health sector.
No, but you can't talk about the members of the public because they are not the elected officials. They are not the ones who make policies, and they're not the ones who control the budget. So the public can only say what affects them personally. So I can only say, oh, my father is sick, or something is happening to my mother. I don't have to be I'm not a part of the process that institutes policies. So if you're talking about the public or as a means to resolving these issues, I'm not sure the public, I mean, in my own thinking, it should be the people making policies. What do you think?
Well, I actually think the public has a very important role to play in all of this, and this setting is actually one of the processes by which members of the public are educated on their roles. First of all, on the issues and the roles that they should also be playing in this. Yes, they are not the direct policy makers, but they are the ones who, we know this, for me, one way or the other, we are all involved in policy making. Maybe not directly, but there are other ways by which we influence policy making. And to that extent, we should also be pulling our way to ensure that the policy makers get a feel of our opinions, such that in arriving or in making policies, they will take those opinions into cognizance.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that we'll be able to resolve the issues as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Dr. Sekumade of the Association of Resident Doctors. Now, Mike is standing by with Michael George after this break.
Now, it's always going to be somehow calling someone else by your name. Like, you'd be like, I'm Mike. Hey, Michael. Hey, Mike. Really. Michael George is here.
Hi.
He's a singer-songwriter with a voice that warms the heart and connects people with his unique sound. Okay, Michael, it's great to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so what are you doing for us today?
I'm singing.
You're singing, right? That's who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, take it away. I'll see you at the end of this performance.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Devil cannot steal my joy away. It's a gift to me from the Father above. Cannot take my soul away. Christ laid his life and paid it all. Why should I be afraid of the terror by night or the arrow by day? I cannot be afraid. I'm victorious. I'm victorious in Christ. Oh, Oh, I'm victorious. I'm victorious. Oh, I'm victorious. I'm victorious. Oh, I'm victorious. I'm a winner. That's a life I'm born to live. It's not by power, but the Christ who lives in me. No more guilt, no shame. I'm born to reign with Him. He's my King and reign. No more guilt, no shame. I'm born to reign with Him, my King and friend. Oh, I'm victorious in Christ. Oh, I'm victorious in Christ. Oh, I'm victorious. I am victorious. I am victorious. Yeah. Abu, oh yeah, Mary. Ni me chineke. Oh, devil is defeated. Victory is mine. Hallelujah.
Okay, that was something. That was really something. You've been doing this for like 7 years now.
Yeah.
That's quite a long while.
Yeah.
And how's the 7 years been so far as a gospel artist?
It's been interesting, ups and downs, but it's been wonderful.
Okay, now something I always like talking about when I meet gospel artists.
Okay.
The financial advice or
Very important.
finances. Very important. Okay, now, when you're invited to say a program, to a church and all of that,
Yeah.
do you give an upfront fee or you just go there, whatever they have, they get to you?
Well, sometimes it happens that way, but sometimes the churches or wherever you want to go, you know,
Okay.
they tell you, okay, you know what? They ask you how much you would like to collect,
Okay.
right? And then the negotiation just goes back and forth and all of that till you guys reach a compromise.
But if you, okay, as it stands now,
Okay.
does it pay all the bills? Being a gospel artist, do you do any other thing by the side or you just focus fully on gospel music?
Well, I do other things at the side.
And it does
Yeah.
really help.
Yeah.
Okay, I know now you have plans for an album this year.
I do.
After 7 years, that's really quite a while. What are we to expect from that album?
Well, there's a lot of work going into it right now, and I can assure you that it's going to be wonderful, mind-blowing. That's why it's taking this long.
Okay,
right, so
it's really been quite a while. I'm looking forward. Wonderful vocals. You serenaded everyone in the studio. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, all right. Let's go over to the kitchen and see what and Tolu have for us.
Yes, we're still here, and Tolu is cooking up a storm as usual, or baking up a storm, I would say. Okay, so Tolu, where are we so far? Because of time, we decided to start up with our cream filling, right?
Our chicken.
Chicken filling.
Chicken filling.
All right, so for the benefit of those just joining us.
Okay, so this is our chicken filling. So all we did was we diced chicken, potato, we fried our onions first, our pepper,
What are we
spiced it
making,
up.
first of all?
We're making chicken pie, 1 pot chicken pie.
1 pot chicken.
Yes. So we diced our chicken, tomatoes, pepper, onions, just like when you're making a sauce, just put everything in with the pepper. Then after we fried it a little bit, then we added water. Now the water just covered the surface of what was inside. It wasn't too much.
Okay.
It just covered the surface. Then we added like 3-4 tablespoons of flour.
Okay.
So that's the flour was to thicken the sauce. If you look at it, it is thickened. So
it's like a curry sauce.
Yes, like you can have this with rice. As in, man, I'm already thinking of rice.
Yes, or spaghetti.
Or spaghetti.
Or yam, depends
Yeah,
on
we
the
can have
preference.
it. So right now, we needed this for 15 minutes, thereabouts.
I mean, that's a long time to work with your hands.
That's why
you
it's
know?
always good to get your machine. If you have your hand mixer, we
Oh,
won't go
okay,
through this.
okay,
But if you look at
oh.
it, look at the texture.
Yeah.
Compared to when we first started,
Yeah.
it's a whole lot.
So what went into making this?
Flour, sugar, butter and flour being the main ingredients.
Okay.
So flour, sugar, butter, and eggs, 3 eggs. So we put it in, and we started adding water towards the end. It was after we combined all the ingredients together, when we realized that it had not yet gotten to the consistency we wanted, we started adding water like a tablespoon at a time.
Okay.
Once you don't add so much at a time, a tablespoon at a time. So until when you get to a point where now it looks like this, that's when you know you've gotten to
ready.
You're ready.
It
So
is
now-
ready.
Yeah. So at this point, what we're going to do is that we're going to line our pan. So I'm just going to
What did you put in the pan? Because it
Butter.
looks okay. Butter.
You know, this is not the silicone mold I'm usually
Used
using.
to, yeah.
Not used to. This is what I use in
Oh,
my
okay.
bakery.
That's what I'm used to you using.
But over here, I just enjoy the fact that I have silicone mold and, you know.
So what does the flour do for? Because I've always wanted to ask.
Oh,
what
it
does
doesn't
it do to the dough?
It doesn't stick to the
table.
To the table.
Oh, okay.
So we're just gonna go around on this.
You know why I still insist that baking ain't my thing. It's so much work.
Oh yes, you have. It's for the strong, darling.
Yes.
Not like I'm calling you weak, but
No,
you know
it's
what
fine.
I mean.
It's all right. I can handle it.
So I'm just gonna go around on this. I don't want it to be really thin, so that you can eat that crust
So it's
well.
filling.
Yes. So
Okay.
just you know.
So when do we know? How do we know when the sauce is ready?
When it's thick enough. Well, it's to your choice. When you think the chicken is tender enough.
Okay.
And yeah, just it's based on you. Like now, when I'm going to pour this, I don't want to pour in a lot of liquid.
Okay.
But I don't want it to soften up my dough and it start looking funny.
Okay.
So I want it to be thicker than that. A little bit more.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost there anyways. So once this flattens out, let us see if this is the right. Yep, I can stretch it out.
Wow, it's really thick.
Yeah, and it's like if your dough is breaking, you know that
It's not ready.
It's not ready. You've not kneaded it enough. It cannot break, or maybe something was too much. The flour was probably too much or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can correct it. Just look for just think of what was too much. Add in liquid to combine it together.
Okay.
So here I'm just going to open this up.
And then for the sauce.
Yeah.
What's the alternative?
You can use minced meat.
Okay.
You can use turkey.
Minced meat, same process?
Same process. So
Okay.
it's like you're doing meat pie.
Okay.
You can use turkey. You can use fish. There's fish pie anyways.
Oh, fish pie. Oh, yes, there is fish pie. But not so many of us are used to fish pie.
Yeah, not so many, but
We
you
all
can
like meat pie or
can use
chicken
that.
pie.
So we just try and press this on the body so that it sticks.
It sticks.
Yeah.
All right.
So once we're done with this and we fill up the pan, I'm going to roll the last bit.
Okay.
And cover it up.
Oh.
Yes. So I'll pour this in, roll the
I
last
guess
bit.
this is another conventional way of making your chicken pie. Because
Yes.
I've never seen this before.
No, it's just like, this is just one pot. You could do the normal way of,
Yeah, that's the one we're used
Yes,
to.
this small one.
Yes.
Let me just do a quick show and tell.
Okay. And then what are you using the eggs for?
To glaze it.
Glaze? What's glazing?
Like we need to make it golden brown. On the top of it, we put in.
Yes, it's
that-
the egg that does that?
Yes, it's the
Wow.
egg that does that.
I thought it was oil, actually.
Nah.
Wow.
It's the egg that does that. So right now, obviously, because I don't have a round cookie cutter here,
Okay.
so I just freestyle this with my hand.
Okay.
And try and straighten it out a bit. So you know the one you're used to. Can you grab me a fork?
Okay.
We pour in some sauce. Maybe we should give it a try. Okay, this is thickened enough. So I just take a little bit.
Okay. Is that thick enough?
It remains small, but I'm just,
Okay.
can I get a spoon, please?
Okay. Okay.
Here you go. So I just take really little.
Okay.
Put it in the middle. Let's take some potato.
So we're just giving, this is the conventional, this is
the,
what we are used to.
Yes.
This is what you find at eateries, or you could make this at home, thanks to Tolu.
Yes, this is what you're used to at eateries.
And then you'd bake?
Yes. So put it in the oven for from 30 minutes.
Okay.
At 100.
30 minutes?
Yes.
Wow, long time.
At 100 at 75 degrees or Mach 4. So this is it. Then we just put holes
in there.
In it. Glaze it.
Pretty.
Put it in the oven.
That looks simple though, but then the process is really long. We'll go on a quick break right now. It's the Wake Up Nigeria. Do not go anywhere.